Hi, welcome back to Homestead Studio. My name is Marcia, and we're going to be painting with gouache today. If you've never tried gouache, try it. If you've never used gouache, it is so much fun. And it is not a watercolor and it's not an acrylic, it's kind of in between. When you use gouache, it's water soluble. You can use it like water paints. But then after you use it, if you touch it with water, it will become soluble again. It will melt right out. So it's just so much fun, but it will cover, you can use it like an acrylic and cover one color over another one. But remember that whatever's underneath will come through and it will be a much richer color than you were expecting. So let's get started. First of all, I'm using watercolor canvas. If you've never used it, it's fun to use for your watercolors, for your gouache, and it doesn't bubble and lose shape like sometimes the paper will do if you don't have a heavy enough paper. So that's what I'm using, and I have done my preliminary sketch, and then I used my frisket, and I put my frisket on, and I use this little plastic pencil and toothpicks get this on. You can use a brush. A lot of people use the little throwaway brushes, the craft brushes, and let it dry. And then we're ready to start with our painting. So we're going to do a little scene here. And you can use your gouache like you do your watercolors, leaving white areas for your clouds that you want to build on. Or you can just come in later and put your clouds in and they just won't be as intense. The whiteness won't be as intense. So what I'm doing is going to be a little sunset scene. So I'm going to start with my colors here. Kind of let the top dry a little bit as I add the yellow so that I don't end up with the green sky. Doesn't hurt to have a little green colors, but not what I was going for today. See, that gouache will just keep blending. Going up into the blue. I didn't put much blue up there because my focus is down below. Putting a little pinky color in here. You just keep painting right over the frisket that you've got on here. Getting a little sky color down in the water. Let's work on the sky for a minute. Get some white up in these clouds. It will blend. But this sky is going to be a little bit stormy. So it's going to have a little bit of darkness coming here. A little bit of a summer storm moving in. And blending those clouds in. A little bit of the shadow of those clouds down here. Now we're going to put in some rocks over here, and they're kind of dark. We're just going to put the shape of them in right now. Then you're going to take a little tool that I will show you and make your rock shapes. Get your shadows under your rocks using a dark blue. And this rock is really dark. The shadow there. I'm going to bring it down into the water. kind of rub it off so that it's a shadow. Let it dry a little bit while we put in your darks. I'm mixing a little black. I don't ever use black in my oil paintings, but in the gouache, I mix it in. We're going to put little trees here. We're going to put the leaves, tree shape here. And they're just up against the light, and so all you're seeing is the dark shape. Under the lights here, my gouache is drying really quickly, so you'll want to just work with your gouache. It is so much fun. You'll just love it. If you like doing watercolors, you like acrylics, try the gouache. Maybe there's a little one growing out of the side here. Now with the gouache, you can go into your white and a little bit of blue and make your water. Now let's get our boat done. The boat's kind of I'm using some burnt sienna here to start my boat shape. And of course you've got the shadow. And the bottom of the boat is darker. Kind of up in the shallow water. I'm using a dark blue to do the inside of the boat. It'll look kind of black, but it's just a dark blue. Just get some color. The closer you get to you, the more vibrant the colors get. So it will be dark here. more color in it. Gotta have it dark against the boat where it's meeting the ground here. Now we're going to wait a minute for it to dry, and then this dry enough. Then to remove the frisket, take an eraser. Gum erasers I find work better, but this is what I've got today, and get a hold of that edge of that frisket, and it will start to come off. And then you can use it to rub on itself. This is when the fun happens, the finishing. It's always the most fun. And I'm getting some paint up in here because it isn't quite dry. You're gonna have to wait a minute for the rest of it to dry. You can see you're starting to get that reflection in the water. That the sun going down is making. And I'm going to use my blow dryer for a second. Make sure that the frisket, that the paint has dried so I can get the frisket all off. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's dry. We're back now getting the rest of our frisket off. Kind of have to feel for it. Then we can go back in and finish our painting. So I put frisket on where I want the highlights of the boat to be, for the light to be on the boat. So when you do your sketch, put it where you want it. I think I got most of it off now. Still coming. I got a little free with the frisket, it looks like. Okay, and then just take what you want, where you want your highlights to be. Leave them, and see, I need to fix the boat here. As you work your wet into the gouache, what's under it starts to become soluble and it will work in. It's just so much fun to work with. I would really recommend trying it. You can just play with it all you want. It's just so much fun. You can always use the best brush you've got, your fingers. Soften these little edges that I left with the light coming down on the water. Okay, we're almost done. Except for I want a little more cloud action here, these little dark clouds coming across here. So that's our painting for today. Try it, try gouache, and see if you like it. We'll see you next time on Homestead Studio.